It is
Hi guys
with
and welcome
great
to this
horrible pain
video, to this
that we
live
must announce
reaction.
that if the Emperor had a
Sorry,
text-to-speech device and
this
all of
started
its related
already.
projects on this
So
channel,
yeah,
as
live,
you know them,
live
are
stuff,
going on an
live
indefinite
video,
hiatus. Now,
things.
please, please,
Okay,
please, please, we
just let me
ask that
stop it.
before you make any rash assumptions, leave any
Because
posts
we're
or
going to
go on
get
a
through it anyway. Okay, here
crusade.
it is. So yeah, I thought that I fixed that, but OBS is just playing tricks on me for some reason. Okay. So,
It is with great horror.
if you do this one more time to me, freaking OBS, I'm gonna kill you. Okay. I'm pissed off as it is about the news that we're going to discuss. And we are also, of course, going to get through the video step by step. So there is no like paraphrasing or whatever, but just getting the truth and like the literal word of Alpha Buza here. So I had to cut my hiatus that was very needed short, which is not the best thing ever for me in the ways that I'm feeling, but this is super important, so I really felt that I have to be here and cover it, guys. So I am. There's another video that I should cover definitely, and it's you know, connected to this. Is the opposite of this actually. It's what the guys from Chaos Rising are doing. So I'm gonna leave that for the next stream and live discussion with you guys. So I want to get this because it's a long video as it is. I'm going to play it, stop it, discuss it, and this is how we're gonna do it so we can address every point that is worth addressing. In the meantime, guys, of course, I'm gonna check your comments after I'm finished. So feel free to, well, of course, talk in the chat. And thank you very much for everyone that joined this live. So thank you to my honorable Primarchs that are Primarchs member of the channel, Materian, of course, Squash Type, Boldier, Ivy, and Clayton. So thank you guys. And welcome to everyone else. Dark, Optic, Zeriche. If I missed someone, Jennifer, hi to you too. You just started the hobby and you love it. Yeah, Jennifer. Well, there's a lot of things to discuss here, and I'm happy that you love it. But you know, creators like Alpha Buza are the ones that basically got people into Warhammer, and uh, yeah, so that is even more sad. Anyway, let's start to see what he said because there's really a lot to unpack here, and yeah, let's start.
Pain that we must announce that if the Emperor had a text-to-speech device and all of its related projects on this channel, as you know them, are going on an indefinite hiatus. Now, please, 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 we ask that before you make any rash assumptions, leave any posts or go on a crusade through the comment sections, you listen to this video in its entirety for the full context. I know it is long, but that is only out of necessity. Please. With Games Workshop's new explicitly zero tolerance policy against fan animations, we no longer feel it tenable to produce Warhammer fanworks at this time. I want to go on and address several points people will make in response to this. One, many argue that our work lies firmly under various different parody and pastiche laws. You might be right about that. We are not copyright or IP legal professionals, but this, unfortunately, simply does not matter. We cannot see a future under the sword of Damocles, under rickety laws that are constantly attacked by copyright lobbyists, and under two companies, both GW and YouTube, that would take action against the channel even if it, in theory, has no legal grounds. The situation I am in right now with a mortgage to pay and a child to take care of.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right here. So we have to address what he said, that basically he doesn't want to risk it. That is what he said here. But in theory, he could continue to do it. I mean, to continue with it, yes, because it is parody. And that is the first thing that I thought about when I discussed the previous news about sodas, and then before that about taking all the creators, deleting their content, all those things. That basically TTS is, a parody, something different, something that Games Workshop will not produce themselves. So it's very, very different, and it will not, in any shape or form, stand in the way of what they're doing. So it's totally different beast, so to speak. And that's why I personally think and thought and said that, to me, Games Workshop will not go after them. And that is, of course, assumption. But I do still think that, and they did not go after them. So this is Alphabuza decision of him and his team to just not risk it. So that is, for now, what we establish here. As I said, guys, I'm gonna check your comments when I'm finished because it's a very long video. So about that, I mean, we can still talk about that after after we finish, whether this is the best decision. But he has a lot more points, so yeah, continue.
I am in no place to dedicate however many years it would take to fight a legal battle against a massive foreign corporation under incredible financial duress and under intense public scrutiny in order to safely continue on with this. I cannot do that to myself, and I especially cannot do that to my family, especially now with my newborn son in the equation. Two, some of you will then argue that this would never happen. GW would never pull off a frivolous lawsuit and waste resources against a meager fan work, also knowing the risk that they could lose. Again, you might just be right, but again, I am not willing to take that risk. I was under the staunch impression for the past few years that GW was evolving out of their archaic, draconian legal methods, and that they had realized the worth of fanworks.
I guess not. Yeah, of course he has a point here. So I'm seeing my colleague here in the comments, Kill Team Hungry. Hi to you. Greg, what is happening? You're doing an email campaign on the Outer Circles channel and watch his latest video if you do those things, and let's give GW hell. Okay, I'm gonna check that. That's also something. Okay, we are definitely going to discuss as well, what we can do as a fandom. So thank you very much for that. Okay, continuing.
But then they do a 180 and establish a zero tolerance policy against them.
Yeah.
I do not know how far they are willing to go to protect their IP, especially with an incentive to monopolize 40K content through a streaming service, and I do not want to find out. 3, some of you might ask that we at least check with GW if continuing this is alright. Perhaps we can get a license, perhaps we can get in on their new streaming service.
Yeah, that is a very good point. I'm just gonna let him finish. Because I thought the same thing, and some of you suggested for my drawings to contact GW and be like, oh, look at what I do, can I do it? And I immediately thought, oh yeah, sure, I'm gonna go and to them and say like, oh, here I am, I exist, and look at what I do. And I'm totally doing something against their policies. So no, I'm not about to show myself and like make them aware of what I do. So yeah, that's a good point of him. It's exactly what I thought too.
Ignoring the fact that we have been incredibly disenfranchised by these new policies, and also the several allegations made against the company and its work practices in recent weeks. There are several other issues. First is, the leads at GW quite likely have an image of what they want 40K to look like in the eyes of an evolving audience. It is equally likely that TTS simply does not fit within this vision. Second is, TTS by its nature has through the years made constant, unabashed references to and grabbed material from multiple different sources outside of GW's jurisdiction. It would probably demand a lot of reworking to make it fit into the Warhammer Plus catalog. TTS would almost certainly have to be changed significantly, and I do not think people want that. And finally, taking all this into account.
Okay, just one point here. Actually, Major Q suggested this, that he can continue. I mean, Alpha Booza could continue to do, TTS if he just doesn't call the characters with their names, basically. I don't know if that's gonna work legally wise, but if it's a parody and if it's like soul change, but only we know that it's Warhammer, maybe, just maybe, I mean, what grounds then GW would have to really attack him? I don't know. It's still a risk though, so he does not want to deal with the risks. That's the bottom line.
This decision is one that more than likely is going to be made by legal, and legal only. Typically, in a company of GW size and structure, each department is like an individual silo, with the only real communication between these different silos going through the various team leads and directors. Legal operates according to their roles, and that job is not to be Warhammer fans. It is to be the legal department of the company. The current zero tolerance policy, for instance, was in all likelihood made by them. If it involved a partnership with marketing or the streaming content team, we simply do not know. So, should we contact GW? No. We feel that legal will likely make a move on its own, based on its own definition of the question, without regards for potential ramifications, because that's generally how siloed companies like GW work. So us approaching GW to ask about the continued existence of TTS is, in all likelihood, going to end up in them telling us a big fat no, we have a zero tolerance policy towards fan animation, and then, as they become officially aware of TTS's existence, they are likely going to have to follow their own policy and will have, at best, the channel demonetized, and at worst, the entire channel and Patreon struck down. All of which is, of course, a risk I do not want to take for all the aforementioned reasons. This all sucks. And we are so tired. And honestly, we have been tired for a long time now. This update to the policy, specifically focusing on fan animations, was the final humongous pile of straw that broke our backs. Despite this consistent tiredness and anxiety, the thing that has kept us going is our love for Warhammer running so disgustingly deep. 8 years of running this show, from when we were shitty, edgy little adolescents to big bloated adults. And I have been genuinely invested in this franchise this entire time, and at no point have I just been working on this project because I feel it's my job. It's been a passion project through and through, and I desperately hope that has come across in the videos. Even if, in the grand scheme, it is just a shitty little fan fiction. It's one made with real passion, real love, and real joy.
Actually, it comes across a lot, and we all can appreciate it. And that's why, so many of us just can't get enough of it at all. So It is amazing feeling to be able to create something out of your heart and live off of it. If you never, done it, if you're not creator, it's maybe hard to relate, but it is one of the best things ever, to be a creator and to be able to put your passion and love into something and see it grow and blossom and just never losing sight of what you want to do. And at the same time, this is helping you live and you give something to people. It's just the best thing. This is the best thing ever. So, yeah.
And that is, of course, why this decision has turned me into a fucking meatball of despair. A future under this GW, or at least these policies, is untenable. So as minor as such an update, unheralded, unannounced, might be in GW's eyes, the indefinite hiatus of TTS will have to serve as our statement. With that, though, I wish to bring up why we have specified indefinite hiatus instead of cancelled. We do not want to cancel it, so instead we shelve it. Our hope is that should GW at some point in time in the far future change their policies and become explicitly more amenable to fan work such as ours, then we will return to TTS. And we know that this is possible. Theoretically, we have seen companies that are on the exact opposite side of the spectrum in regards to how to treat fan works.
Yeah.
They not only accept them, but actively support them. These companies gain tremendous amounts of goodwill from their audiences for this. So they gain free advertisement, of course, and they recognize that by keeping these projects within the fandom, they mitigate the risk of having these people, say, turn their project into an original work and sell it in spite of it being clearly based on another IP or whatever. GW's hostility has lost them far more goodwill than anything else throughout the years. Now, if GW should change one day, then we will inevitably be drawn back in, because our love of the universe runs deep and we want to finish the story. Not only that, but I want new plastic Tyranids. I want to play more Necromunda. I want to continue to build my Beastman Stealer cult that I love. There are a lot of things I still want from Warhammer. But with the series itself, I feel like I need to distance myself from the franchise as well, which makes it kind of feel like a nasty breakup in a way. However, I want to say, if GW should change tomorrow or next week or even next month, we will still not return immediately. No way. This is purely down to trust and goodwill. We would need to see that there is an explicit acceptance of fanworks that isn't just mere platitudes, and that they won't change their mind again the week after. We want to see change, we want to see it in practice, and we want to take our time to confirm it. On the other hand, however, if GW just will not change ever, if it takes years and years and years and nothing changes on their end, then we will return to our project anyway. Just not in the way that it currently exists. I want to give assurance to our core audience, the viewers who have followed us for years and years and have, like us, some kind of relationship with the characters through the series' run. We wish to take these personalities and conclude their story within an original setting. This will also not be a reboot, but a spiritual successor with all foreign intellectual property scrubbed away and made truly ours. This should be a story that you will be able to recognize in a future so deep that all has changed yet much remains the same.
Okay, so I just want to stop it right here. to address what he said so far. So basically, he does have, I mean, the team also does have an idea of how they should, or how they want to continue it, and that is like the idea that Major Kill did propose, that they just change everything and just not call the characters and just continue doing it, but in the same way they want to wait things out to see how things look like, and then if it's if GW doesn't do anything, or they just uh, change their mind and really confirm that they did change their ways and they are going to allow fan animations, then they're just going to continue as it is probably. But if time goes on and they, GW doesn't do anything, they can just come back and do some kind of a continuation with a different style of animation and whatever they want, as long as they make a continuation and they're going to make the characters, maybe with different names and all of that, but we will know that they're the same character. So something like this, but they cannot do it right now. They just don't want to risk it right now, but they do plan to do it in the future. So whatever happens, maybe, just maybe, we are going to get some kind of a form of TTS and finishing of that. But I will let him continue. We have 12 more minutes till the end of the video. And like I said, guys, I'm gonna totally talk to you in the comments as soon as we're done.
Either of these alternatives will happen. That is the one thing we can guarantee. Unless I die, or my channel gets destroyed forever and I'm banned from the internet.
No.
Ogre attack. Nevertheless, this is all in the future. What will happen now? Going forward, we will expand to other licenses. We have a passion for licenses specifically owned by companies that we know give explicit consent and support to fan creators who want to work on fan projects, be they monetized or not, without repercussions. Immediately, we know that this is a great risk. Channel upon channel upon channel on YouTube has fallen into obscurity because they choose to change their content. We are aware this fall might happen to this channel, and it is the thing that gives the most anxiety about all this. We do not wish to alienate our already established viewer base by just throwing at you a brand new story with brand new characters and a brand new setting. To mitigate the risks and to try and attain as much of your interest and goodwill as possible, we are working hard to make the transition as smooth as we can into whatever new settings we choose to explore. We will assume that the majority watching will be unfamiliar with whatever setting we use, and thus we will try to have it explored and explained, just like how TTS did. For this purpose, we will also continue to use familiar archetypes from TTS, kind of like how we did in the Stellaris special, to make the ride into these new frontiers as familiar and as comfortable as possible for, well, not only you, but also for us.
Oh yeah, so basically, if they use, personalities, archetypes like they did in Stellaris, that's gonna be awesome, because they did had like the young emperor basically there, and they did had like the version of the Eldari and version of like the little boy from from TTS. So that is perfect, just perfect. I mean, I can totally get into that. It's like the same characters, but reincarnated in different bodies. So that's hilarious, actually. It's pretty awesome.
But just to summarize, we wish to gain explicit permission to work on fan projects in a setting we have genuine passion and interest for, and we wish for our viewers to give these future projects a shot despite not being 40k. To make this easier, we want to make the transition as smooth and as entertaining as possible, so you too can perhaps become obnoxiously invested in a new setting alongside us, assuming you aren't already invested in whatever we move on to. With that being said, however, no matter what, we do not expect you to eagerly follow us into anything new we make. I am fully aware of the niche within a niche within a niche we have dug ourselves into throughout the years, and that getting out of it is going to be extremely difficult no matter what. We are going to we are probably going to suffer the wrath of the YouTube algorithm and the general uninterest of the majority for this move, and that is just how it is going to have to be. We will have to do our damnedest to prove to those willing to give us a chance that whatever we move on to is worth their time.
Oh, no. I'm sure, like super sure that whatever they do, it's gonna be hilarious, it's gonna be awesome. Even if it's not literally spelled out 40K somewhere, I'm sure, like sure that we all are going to watch it, at least most of us. I'm sure of this because, like I've said, so, Stellaris did prove that, like a lot. And it was memorable, it was funny, it was everything that TTS should be, and you don't really need to know that much, but they're still going to explain it. And they have taste, so whatever they pick to present, I think it's gonna be super awesome. Like, for instance, if they pick The Mandalorian, something Star Wars, my eyes are gonna be there. So yeah, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's not gonna be the end of Alpha Buza and his team of creativity, but it's just like such a bummer that the one thing that is most favorite IP, they have to just stop doing it. But if we all show them support for the next project, it's gonna be awesome. And if GW gets out of their butts and actually give them, permission, license, explicit, you know, uh, consent agreement for fans to do animations, then even better. So whatever they do, I'm sure they have, well, they already have pretty good idea what they're going to continue with, and I'm sure it's gonna be super awesome. So I don't think that YouTube algorithm, all of those things, are going to stop them at all because they already have established channel with tons of subscribers and views and everything else. So they have everything else going for them. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna be super successful and awesome. But it's still a huge bummer because what GW did is basically killing the livelihood of a lot of people, uh, and just creating this huge, big, fat obstacle in front of them. When everything that the fans do is free advertisement, it just brings more people to GW and to buy whatever they're selling, like everything. And you can still have these animations and you can still have the original animations that GW want to make with Warhammer Plus. But that we're going to discuss at the end of the video, so let's continue.
Time and build a new audience from there. Without doubt, this is one of the things I am most stressed about, and I am chronically desperate in my hope that it will work out for the better in the end.
I'm sure.
Moving back to TTS, the first two parts of TTS episode 30 have been up for a while for free on Patreon. I was intending on releasing the full thing publicly on YouTube once I was done with part 3, which I had worked on quite hard between my son's birth and Zero Tolerance Day. But as you might expect, the situation since then has had me unable to add a single new keyframe. We will release part 1 and 2 to the public in the coming days, and as you will see, if you haven't already, the ending cliffhanger is just where TTS will have to sit for however long it'll have to take.
Okay, so yeah, I was aware for a while that the episodes were on Patreon. I talked about this before, they're open for everyone, so I could have just covered them weeks ago, but of course I waited for him to say when he's gonna release them officially on YouTube, just make them public basically, even though everyone can go to the Patreon and see them because it's just not at all appropriate for me or anyone else to cover those when they're not officially released on YouTube. So I waited for that. And when he releases them, I will be very happy to, well, for the final time, I hope not, but for the final time, see those with you guys and, cover them live probably. And I haven't seen them myself. Of course, I'm not gonna see them at all before I get to see them with you guys. So it's gonna be, as usual, literally watching, reacting to them live. So I can't wait to see what the cliffhanger this is all about. But I'm sad about the last one because I do think that they could have finished that because they're already working on it and they literally have to stop and not add another keyframe to it. It's not gonna make things, I don't think, worse if he just releases the last episode. Just finish that, release it. GW have not gone, on them at all, and another episode would not make any difference because they made so many more others. They're there, so if they are breaching something, there's like tons of episodes that that are breaching whatever that something is. So another episode would not break anything, I don't think. But it's their decision, so there's that. But we are going to enjoy the future episodes, at least the last ones, together.
To my patrons, those who have been the nicest, most understanding, most patient, and most fantastic group of people I've had the pleasure of following me since 2014, I am especially thankful and especially sorry. What with the release of this video being so late in the month, you might be extra upset, which is understandable, entirely understandable. This was something that was not intended, but we had to hash out our thoughts and see if GW would change something or clarify anything in the interim. But for this, I am more than willing to offer refunds, and I implore you that if you are simply not interested in seeing where we go from here, do not feel bad about removing your pledge. We cannot guarantee that TTS will happen again for a long time. Longer even than you're used to. And we also cannot guarantee that the settings we move on to will be something you will be interested in at all.
Well, we'll see about that. As I said, about the chat, I also had a breakage of the connection from the chat. So it's not just you, dear Ivy. I hope everything is working now. I didn't see any breakage in the stream, so I hope everything's fine.
We are entirely expecting Patreon to drop. We are expecting AdSense to drop, and this is just how it is going to have to be. For the sake of transparency and goodwill, I am going to start up my bi-weekly Patreon updates again and actually stick to them this time. Something anyone can read without being a patron, just so those who stick by us know more precisely what we will be working on going forward and can make a more informed decision about whether or not they want to stay. Also, on a personal note, I am going to try and find a part-time job and work 150% for a while for the sake of mitigating the risk to my family's financial situation. In the end, if worse comes to worse, I will simply have to find another full-time job and I will return to doing videos in my off time. In the end, what's important is you do you. Your money is your money. Do not spend it on this channel if you feel like it's not interesting to you anymore. In addition, especially for the sake of my patrons, I wish to quickly address the turnaround time for videos as they have been for the past forever. The TTS pipeline has had several bottlenecks that we haven't really had the ability to solve due to the odd way the pipeline has been structured from the beginning. The script work has only recently become more streamlined after years of trying to find something that works. Some of our voice actors are incredibly busy and take months to schedule sessions with, and the animations themselves look incredibly humble, but are actually way too intensive for their aesthetic to be worth the turnaround time, honestly. But
yeah,
we haven't really dared step out of this for the sake of consistency. So going into the future, we are going to become more experimental, which, okay, yeah, again, another thing that will honestly be against us in our attempts to stay relevant, because generally people do not like change, and we already have so much change going on. But what I mean by that primarily is that we want to change the production pipeline for videos. We want to streamline the process. We want to lie far, far ahead in the production cycle for everything from scripts to voice work. We want to return to the glorious days of shorter videos. We want to see if we can make the aesthetics more striking and interesting by experimenting with stuff like motion comics, maybe.
Oh, that's gonna be very interesting. I mean, quick note on the changes that could occur. I mean, in every creative process, you want to optimize things, you want to streamline things, like he said, because just, I mean, I can't even begin to explain how much effort this is all costing. Not only the script, but then, obviously the voice acting, how many times a line should be, or I mean could be re-recorded. Then the animation, I'm not personally attached to that animation that much. It's basically figures that move here and there. I mean, it's effective and it's interesting, but of course it could be a lot better. And motion comics are pretty effective too. If you ever saw the whole Watchmen story told in this way. So whatever they do, I'm just all up for it, as long as it's possible to produce and not take months and months and months, to do just one video. So this could all be in a way better quality and the same time just faster to make. And the amount of willpower and nerves that something like this can take is just unbelievable. That's why they're so tired as well, not only because GW tries to put a foot in front of them so they can trip and fall, but it is the whole creative process that is just like trying to carve a statue from a very, very hard rock, basically. Okay, continue.
And we want to tell some stories that aren't necessarily just grand shitposts. All of these things, stepping out of our comfort zone and learning things we never would have been able to through TTS, and then perhaps returning to it and being able to improve upon it with what we have learned along the way, that would be very good, I think. Getting the chance to do this, even if I know it will have a lot of people uninterested and will fundamentally be another big risk, is one of the few things in this whole horrible hellhole debacle that actually kind of excites me, at least. As for the content already uploaded to the channel, it will of course remain up until someone who isn't us takes it down through whatever means. I would never remove it willingly. TTS will stay where it is, and I hope you will be able to continue to watch and enjoy it despite this situation. I hear that some people watch it as a form of comfort, which is something I do with a lot of other YouTubers. It is an important, like genuinely important part of my life, and if people actually have TTS as their like comfort thing, first of all, that is one of the greatest compliments a YouTuber can get, so thank you so much for that. Like, yeah. And secondly, I do not want you to lose that, and I really, truly hope this situation won't permanently sour the entire channel for you. Now, oh boy, for some further risk mitigation, which honestly, yeah, I'm sorry. I am in absolute full damage control mode because, again, meatball of despair. Please, I fucking beg of you, to those who would consider it, do not attack GW employees over this. I cannot state strongly enough how this is the absolute and utter last thing that I want, that any one of us wants, or that should happen because of this statement and our decision with the channel. Criticize the company, criticize the monolith, the brand, but do not, under any circumstances, go about attacking those who work for it and within it. Please. Also, I would ask anyone to not go like on a LARP Space Marine warpath through comment sections, typing Purge GW or GW took TTS time for a crusade or anything of the sort. Like I would assume that like some, like a few, like a minority of people might do this, and like
Minority? I'm not sure about that. But yeah, of course, don't go and harass GW employees because they literally have nothing to do with this. So yeah, that's like no brainer, but I'm sure that somebody will be like, to some GW employee for no reason. So yeah, it's the big guys that are just tone deaf and are not fans at all that are deciding these things.
I don't want you to do that because like that will more than likely annoy people who aren't GW, as well. It's fundamentally annoying, to be honest with you, and I really truly do not need a backlash to the backlash situation in my life right now. So I'm just telling you this up front as your parasocial pal. I am sorry for this video being so long and such a ramble, but I feel I have to be as transparent as possible in this situation because all we will be able to live on from here on out is your goodwill and a part-time job if I can find one. If I land on the bad side of the majority at the end of this, which I desperately hope won't happen, I can kiss this line of work goodbye forever. With all that being said, I can only hope you understand why this decision has been made and that you do not feel any ill will towards us for it. It hurts, and it has hurt us to make it. It was an incredibly hard decision to make. This has been a fucking horrible week, to be completely honest. Tears have been shed, and we are honestly still just very, very angry, frustrated, upset, and ungodly anxious. But we are also motivated to work hard and do our best to keep this channel from heat death and give you content that you will, at the very least, be willing to give a chance, hopefully, until the hopefully much nicer day when TTS can make its return in one form or another. Thank you for listening. I will now disappear and do something else, and I hope I don't have a stroke immediately upon uploading this video.
But no, seriously. Okay, that was it. Yeah, this is a ton of anxiety. Just a ton of anxiety to have to, you know, have your life's work being basically stopped, and or you just having to stop it because GW did not stop them, but what they did resulted in them quitting, basically. So yeah, first of all, as I said, this is just all about the risk factor. You know, Alpha Booza doesn't want to deal with that. His team doesn't want to deal with that. There is a way to go around it, but they just want to wait and not risk it. So once again, not risking it is the key here. And yeah, I just need to read your comments now, but this is horrible. This is horrible. At least we're going to get the last episode, but I do think that they should finish that third episode. But anyway, that's just my view, because I don't see the difference if they don't finish it if they finish it. I mean, if they finish it, we are going to have it. So we're going to have it and be happy that we have it, and some kind of a conclusion, maybe, just maybe, because I think that the third one was supposed to finish that story arc. So that is some closure there, but now that we are not going to have it, it's just even worse. That's on the other hand. On one hand. On the other hand, what I already said about you just have to watch all the previous coverage of everything that GW did so far. And the previous video that I did just like last week. when the policies came out, and then the previous with sodas, all of that, that basically all fan creations are free advertising. And when it comes to Alpha Buza and TTS, it's even more ridiculous for this content to be, um, in any way, shape, or form taken down. So that's why I didn't think, and I don't really think that GW will actually do something, that they will actually go after them, because it is just so different than anything that GW are doing. And I don't think that GW are going to do something like this anyway, ever. They are copying basically what other creators do on YouTube, like the lore videos. They're going to have their own original version, original, I mean theirs, version of that. They're going to have tabletops, matches, battles, and of course they're going to have the animation. So they acquired all the animators that were the fan animators, made them work for them, so now they can create animations, because they recognize that those people are freaking talented. They're right in front of their eyes, and they already know Warhammer, so it's not like just hiring animators that have no idea what Warhammer is. It's just so much more convenient. So basically, the GW seems to think that if there's fan animations out there, and if there's Warhammer Plus out there, the two things cannot coexist. So this is what this whole crusade for GW is about. That we have the fan animations on one hand, and we have their official animations on the other hand. And GW are like, oh my gosh, if fans are free to create their own animations, but we also have Warhammer Plus, then we here, with Warhammer Plus, we're going to lose. But that's certainly not the case. I can still watch and be interested in Warhammer Plus, and I can still watch and be interested in what fans are doing, because the two things does not have to be like fighting with each other. They complement with each other, because with what fans are doing, that they are advertising Warhammer in general. They are saying, look here, this is just an awesome IP, and there's not only Star Wars in the world, there's actually this here, 40k universe, 30k, whatever, and the Warhammer Fantasy, that are just so complex and with a lot of layers and just so interesting. And that is just something that is ongoing, and the fans are doing it all the time, and they are doing this free advertisement. And on the other hand, you have Warhammer Plus, and they're basically saying, oh, you saw all of these fan animations, where look at here, we have like official now, and you can watch these shows and that, and we done that. So it's just perfectly, one is complementing the other. So it's just no brainer for me. How are GW thinking that the original animations, theirs, and the fans are like in conflict with each other? Like how? you know I mean, most people that are genuinely interested in Warhammer, and that are, well, brought by those animators like myself, they're also going to be interested in the original animations, because GW never done them before. They started with the idea to do them because there was fans. There was fans that were creating these animations, that did this, literally did this for GW. They did this for them. Now, when it comes to TTS, once again, that is even different, in a way that TTS, once again, is so different. So even if GW acquires them and says, oh yeah, you come here, work for us, and do something like TTS, well, I actually, yeah, I don't think that they ever will, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. Because they just don't do anything like this. TTS is so freaking original as a type of animation, just video creation, you can call it whatever, that it could, like, super easy, just be whatever it is, separately from what GW are doing, and it's not in Warhammer canon, so they can do whatever and still exist simultaneously with whatever Warhammer officially is doing. So they're just not in conflict at all. They can just coexist, generally speaking. And if GW was a smart company that actually appreciated their fans, the talent of their fans truly, and the fact that we are all community, we're communicating with each other, we're sharing our passion with Warhammer, for the audiobooks, for everything basically. I mean, that is all contributing to GW, and they are getting richer, literally, from all of that interaction, and keeping the brand going and keeping the name more popular and growing. And not like it was when it was first created. It took 30 years to get as big as it is, and it's just getting bigger. But now they're decided to cut everyone's head off and be like, no, we are just going to have Warhammer Plus and nothing can coexist with it, which just not true, just not the case. So I'm sad that Alphabuza and his team decided to cut things off before they were actually attacked by by GW. They just are playing it safe, so that is just their decision. And like Alphabuza said, he has a family, a kid, all of that. His Patreon is super big, so if nobody quits, they're going to be able to sustain themselves. And I hope to God that he doesn't have to get a full-time job, because that's just a waste of his time and talent. Honestly, just yeah, no disrespect to full-time jobs, but for someone that has creativity and talent, they're literally wasting their times and they're not helping anyone except the company that they're working for. And they are not helping anyone to, feel better, have a better day, and just contribute with their just fun and talent, to give them something of value, so to speak, in their lives when he's losing his time in a full-time job. So I hope that never gets to that. So now I'm going to scroll a bit and check your comments. There are a lot, which I thank you for, guys. Hi to Nino, I see you there. So I'm just gonna scroll as much as I can to see what you guys are saying, and you have a lot of time before I have to go. So if you have something else, of course, you can still write it, and write, of course, in the comment section after the stream is over. So Dart says, I was there the day GW sent the Adeptus Custodes after their own Thunder fans. I really like that pun. Yes, it's awesome. That's awesome. GW is intended to act upon them. Well, yeah, but they're not actually going and acting upon them that much. I mean, they are, but not against absolutely everyone yet. So maybe they don't know, or they're waiting for something. I mean, they're not aware of everyone. Who knows? Well, Patrick, the world maybe goes on, but here is a matter of principle. So it's not just about Alpha Buza, and it's not just about Solos, and it's not just about Siama Pedersen. It is about a principle, and this principle is: do not nuke your fans, do not destroy your free advertisement by discouraging your fans from doing animations. Just do not kill your own freaking IP. So it's about the principle to not go against the talented people, so you can make sure that you make your own content, and for some reason you think that this particular content could not be successful if there's fan content at the same time, which is just not true, because a lot of other companies, like he said as well, have totally supported their fans, and they agreed with whatever their fans are creating, and they're supporting it. I can think of Star Wars, for instance, and The Mandalorian. Actually, I did record one a super awesome fan-made The Mandalorian movie. I still wasn't able to edit it because obviously I had to, go on the hiatus in the fastest way I could. But I still have that, so yeah, I have to finish that. The point is, Star Wars, I mean Disney. Disney, I don't think that they're getting after the fans, at least not from what I've seen. And for instance, when I do any kind of a trailer reaction, they're not copyright claiming anything, unlike other companies. Like Universal, for instance, I still have a huge problem with them. So even for literally content that is called transformative content, they can still go and claim that I or anyone else do not have the right to cover it, which is just not true. Which is just not true. On the contrary, in the context of educational purposes, parody, just commentary alone. Uh, I mean that's what makes the content transformative, and therefore I can't freaking do it. But they still are like, nope, no, claiming the video. So then I have to dispute it, and they're like, no, we're still claiming the video. And then if I try to push it, they can sue me. So that is something that also made me extremely demotivated, discouraged throughout the years. It's just a slap in the face, followed by a slap in the face every time. So the principle here is not about, well, this guy or this group of talented people, whatever, bite the dust. So, well, the world goes on. No, no, no. It is about a principle that should not be broken, because then GW or any other company for that matter could go on a freaking murderous rampage and destroy all types of free, expression type of content that we do. So, no, absolutely not. That is why we should let, GW know somehow without harassing anyone, their employees, all of that, just the big heads, that this is counterproductive, this is against the fans, this is against their own IP, the brand. This is just makes Warhammer looks to look very, very bad in general, and we cannot enjoy it because we feel that they don't care about what they're doing. They don't care about Warhammer themselves. They just want to milk it till the end of time, and they don't care what they're producing. That's how it looks like. They're like, well, we did this amazing thing, and now we're going to milk everything out of it without actually caring what are we creating. Are we creating substance? Are we creating like interesting characters, models? I mean, maybe they put a lot of talented people that are in charge of those things, so they can make sure that, well, we don't understand anything about the creational process because we're just like corporate guys, with suits and with stick up our butts. But we did place these people that are very talented, so they're going to take care of the interest of these characters, the substance, like whatever, and we're just gonna gather the money or something. So yeah, but from our point of view, it seems like they are screaming, we just want more money and we don't really care, buy our things. And but yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, like, you are immersed in Warhammer, you are just immersed in it and the characters, and all of a sudden you are reminded with a slap in the face that it's just, I mean, it's nothing. It's something that is fiction. Like, who cares? And They just want you to give them your money. That's it. Which just killing the art is killing the substance, the stories that Warhammer in general is trying to tell. That actually has a lot of substance in some points of it. At least whoever has the capacity of other types of knowledge to get everything, let's say. I mean, there's a lot to dig in. There's a lot to dig in anyway. So, uh, so that's why Warhammer is special. And when they do such things, when they broke these principles, it's just everything gets like exposed and transparent that, oh, it's just about some, some money. Of course, it's a business, but they still have to make it good, substantial, and meaningful for the fans. They still have to support the fans and be with them, feel how fans feel, and feel why fans really like that. Really, what is the thing that Warhammer gives the fans, that makes investment in it, and investing our time, emotions, thoughts into it, worth it. Because as Alpha Booza said, some people are watching TTS, me included, to just have this for entertainment, for comfort. In that way, this gives you some kind of a stress relief. So all art is important. All art is important, and for any type of a creator to feel free to create, they have to have a lot of support. They have to have motivation created by the fans' reaction, of course, feedback, just this current of I do something, you tell me something, I do something, you tell me something. This is just very, very important, because otherwise you can just lose everything. I mean, your desire to do anything, and you just get sad and depressed. And that's how I feel as well about what I do a lot of times. But then somebody comes and says, well, Gary, you did that, you saved me from this or that, because I'm doing other things, not only what I'm doing here, what I'm doing in OnlyFans too, how I can, help people there. So whatever somebody returns and says that I saved him from whatever it is, I healed him even, and so many other. I really do a lot of things, guys. But yeah, the point is, this just makes everything have a lot of more meaning. And if you see, I mean, if I see that the platform that I'm trying to get through what I want to do just stops me on every turn, and in this case, YouTube, how they did that for years and years. I don't know. I mean, at some point you feel like, I mean, I'm not a type of person that, gets depressed, but sometimes, guys, I don't even want to talk about it, how I feel, because I'm gonna have to take another hiatus, and it's not gonna be a week. Okay, so that is going to be it for, for this Alpha Booza video, guys. And of course, let me know what you think in the comments. But it is a blow to the fans, and we should not take it. I'm gonna check what Kill Team Hungry left in the comments and see if I can do something about that, some type of a mail list. So we'll see if that's a good idea. Just gonna check on that. And I really want to talk about Chaos Rising, so we're gonna see each other next time with that too, and what they're doing. Actually, we're gonna see each other in maybe 40 minutes, because I'm going to do that tonight. So yeah, next stream in about 40 minutes, guys. But for now, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for watching. If you want to support me, links down below. You can become a member of the channel, or really check my OnlyFans if you wish, where I do my meaningful sex educational content plus fitness, health, nutrition, everything that I can help you with in person. And with that being said, guys, love ya, my golden Astartes and dear Carities. See you very soon. Bye bye.